Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. That's our presenting sponsor. And guess what? We have a deal for the first timers, the people who have not gone to the SeatGeek app, the people who have not gone to SeatGeek.com. First of all, what are you doing? You got to be crazy. But first timers, go buy baseball tickets. And the first time, $10 off. All you have to do is put in the promo code BSMLB. $10 off. First time you buy baseball tickets. What's better than that? Go. Do it. SeatGeek app, SeatGeek.com, promo code BSMLB. We are also brought to you by Larry Wilmer's new podcast, Black on the Air, and Cousin Sal's new podcast. What's Cousin Sal's podcast name?
Against All Odds.
Against All Odds with Cousin Sal is blanking. Cousin Sal and Jimmy won an incredible amount of money on Dancing with the Stars this week. I don't even want to tell you the exact figure. You wouldn't believe it. I think there's been 18 years of Dancing with the Stars, and they've won on 9 of the 18, including this year on Rashad Jennings. How did they know? 14-1 odds. Anyway, check out those 2 new podcasts, and don't forget to check out theringer.com, our NBA draft guide, because the NBA Finals are going to be starting in a week, and there's going to be just a week of dead games, so you might as well read about the draft. Go to our draft guide. We spend an incredible amount of time on it. We are putting pieces up constantly. We're updating the draft boards all the time with Kevin O'Connor, Jonathan Jerks, and Danny Chow, our draft experts. So go there, check it out. It's on theringer.com. And that's it. Coming up, Bill Burr, but first, Pearl Jam. Bill Burr in the house. This is our second podcast together.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you have F is for Family. What day is it?
May 30th.
May 30th.
The second season of F is for Family comes out, and this time we have 10 episodes rather than just 6. I think the first season they just wanted to see, all right, what is this? Because it was kind of weird for a comic to do an animated show.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that did them, Louis Anderson all the way back to Bill Cosby and stuff, but just they hadn't done it in a while, so they're kind of like, eh. So I think they just were like, we'll give him 6.
Yours was set in the past too.
Yeah.
So maybe they were dubious whether that might work.
Yeah.
Well,
there was a bunch of red flags, but Netflix, thank God, went with it and let us do whatever the hell we wanted to do. And we brought the great Mike Price from The Simpsons on board, and that's when it took off. He's one of the creators of the show. And so we got 10 more coming.
Well, you accomplished one of your goals, which was we had to decide that my son couldn't watch it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because it was too far over the line. But
That's
now
good.
he's a year older. I think he's ready. 9.5.
How old?
He's 9.5.
Yeah, I'd wait.
Come on,
I'd wait.
You'd still wait.
If he was the youngest and had some teenage siblings, if he does, then
Okay.
then that's a different kind of 9-year-old. But like taking the beach as the oldest is a 9-year-old jumping, and there's that weird dynamic.
I saw in the preview trailer there's a guy in a bathrobe and his balls were kind of hanging out underneath the bathrobe a little bit.
The head of his dick.
I mean, well, that's what
It goes by real quick. Yeah.
And I was thinking that is in my son's wheelhouse. That is his kind of humor. So
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna let him watch it. We start him early in the Simmons house
There you go. I like it.
because they're gonna find it anyway.
All right.
My
I just
son-
want to take responsibility
All right,
if he starts cursing his brains out. But
All right, let's. There's a lot to cover for us since the last time I talked to you, but we might as well start with the fact that you have a child that now probably she's 4.5 months, which means I'm gonna say 7 weeks ago she stared at you for the first time with that look, like, hey, it's that guy. I like that guy.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You're done for life when that happens.
That's pretty much it. And now, but she's also at that age where she's totally attached to her wonderful mother. So it's like
They
when
have
I
to be.
hold her, she looks at me, and then she just is like. She's like a surveillance camera looking at my mother, my wife, her mother. Jesus Christ, Bill, all over the room. So, and my wife can make her laugh, and I can't. I'm bombing with my own kid. I'm like stealing my wife's jokes.
It's basically faces and holding them up over your head and dropping them quickly and then bringing them back up. That's
she's
really the only
starting
way
to turn
make them laugh.
over, and she's getting ready to go. So we agreed that we were going to look at child gates and all that stuff. We gotta go Trump on her. We gotta wall her in. And childproof the outlets and stuff. But it's awesome.
You're
and
like
I
4 months away from that.
And I have. Well, I don't want to get caught flat-footed because she's already rolling up. It's already to the point we can't walk away if she's on the bed because she figured that out. She gets her legs up in the air and she just kind of does a little lean to the side, and then that's it. Then she gets on her stomach, and once she puts together like, oh, I just keep going this way.
Yeah.
Then
I'll sit there and
I want her to
Culver
learn
City.
about gravity when she's like standing on the floor, not up on a king size bed. It's like a 2-story drop at her age. So we definitely.
Well, listen, stuff's going to happen that you're not going to like. You're going to have about 9 of these.
I understand.
You have a kid, you have 9 of those.
Why
where
do
you go,
parents
"Whoa."
always have to bring the fear in? I know
just
it's coming.
happens.
You don't
It's
think
not
I
a
think
fear.
that?
It's not
Dude,
a
I went out
fear.
on the porch one day with her, just holding her, and I immediately thought, what if a bird of prey came, snatched her, and took her away? I'm already scared enough. I don't need a vet here. Oh, dude, wait till this in a few months. Yeah, I don't
I'm
need
like
that.
the Chris Chelios apparent thing. Oh, you
right.
just wait. I've been around the block.
Yeah, this is a business kid. Don't get too attached to these colors.
Yeah. Could you imagine having 2 of these?
Definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely. So
That's good. Some
yeah.
people get scared off after the one, and they're like, "I'm good."
The only thing I'm scared is she's so chill and mellow that usually the next one comes and is like, the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah.
So so then that's usually, from what I've talked to with parents, that's about 1.5 years of your life before you can even begin to be like, hey, you're kind of being a douche. Can you knock it off? You're exhausting. So, but whatever. If that happens, it happens, because I'm so excited to be a dad because I always wanted to be. But I was a lunatic and whatever. I became a dad when I was supposed to, and I didn't think it was going to happen for me. So I'm glad that I didn't go down this cliched comic route of not being married, not having a family or anything like that. And even though it's later in life for me, I just didn't want to be that guy, working the new Copa whenever they open that up when I'm 90, coming in there in my coffee-stained tie, bitching about the green room. I didn't want to be that guy.
I remember 25 years ago, I bet that you would have a kid right before Janet Jackson.
Oh, is that right? She didn't have hers yet?
No, she had her. So
I was gonna
it's
say.
like she's the other one who waited a long time, Janet Jackson. She was 50.
Oh, yeah, 50.
Imagine being a 50-year-old and and passing out a child.
I can't imagine being 20 and doing it.
I know.
Just watching my wife
20
do it.
is insane. 30 is crazy. 50, like,
No, that
holy
was
mackerel.
like, I saw a level of toughness in my wife that, I knew she was tough to argue with, but like their ability to just, they are built because they're going to have to, they're built pre-modern medicine to have these things in a cave.
Yeah.
So that's like the level of pain that they can,
It's human nature.
yeah. So I was joking with her saying like, I used to think if an intruder came through the door, you were going to be standing behind me after seeing that performance. I might be behind you.
They're like hips displace. All these laws of physics come in that we didn't even know were possible.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say a woman during childbirth and hockey players in the 3rd and 4th rounds of the playoffs are the 2 toughest species we have.
Yeah, I'd still
Those
give
last 2 rounds.
I'd still give the edge. I would rather take a puck off the skate than.
They take them off the face.
Oh, I know. This guy.
That's the
slide
craziest.
down.
They're like, I got to come out. The puck hit my face. A slap shot.
I don't know
I'm gonna
how-
come out. I'll be back.
Did you ever play hockey?
No.
Oh my god! One time, I took one out, and it wasn't even. It was just a wrist shot.
Yeah.
It just caught me right on the side of my foot, hit my toe. Like my whole toe turned purple. The next one was like half the toe, and then the next toe was like just the top of the toe, and like it was like this weird, like unbelievable pain, and then totally numb. And then and I started, like everything I do in life, I started late. I started playing hockey late, and then ever since then, I had an even more of an appreciation that I can't imagine an NHL level wrist shot. Forget about a slap shot. Like back in the day, that guy Al McGinnis was like over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Chelios, not Chelios, sorry, Chara. Chara, when he had the hardest slap shot, I saw him hit some guy in the side of the foot, and it was just over. This guy, I don't know where the hell he was. He made these things called skate fenders, and they apply these plastic things. I used to wear them when I'd play pickup hockey, and if I got hit side in the foot, they were great, these plastic things. And they claimed a lot of guys in the NHLs will wear them. They're like clear plastic. It's so weird that they protect all your body except for your feet, which is so important. And of course,
True.
Behind your calves.
And some spots in the back, it seems like. There's like a couple spots the puck can sneak in there.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I went to the All-Star Challenge, which was for the most part terrible in February, but they had the fastest shot competition. and we were behind the net, and Ovechkin shot, and he missed the net, and it was coming right at us,
Oof.
and it was the most frightening moment of my life.
Oh yeah,
It felt like it was 300 miles an hour. I don't know how the goalies do it.
yeah. That poor guy, man. He's taking all the heat. He always
know.
seems to take the heat. It's like, no, this is the guy you need to build around. He's not the problem. I was like one of the best guys in the league, the problem, but they always do that. That's like when Isaiah missed Game 3 and we won, and all these people are going like, are they better without him? Should the Celtics not have Isaiah Thomas?
It's the best.
It's. I always just look at it like there is so many sports shows and there's so many hours to fill that you actually have to do that. Like
you have to be stupid.
You almost hear it in their voice where it's just like, guys, are we really going to try to? We're going to commercial fish on this one. Let's throw the net out there.
That's Boston sports and media in a nutshell, though. They have so many hours now. It's all day, 2 stations, and
It's
then
everywhere.
one of the TV stations is 3 hours at night. So they're just staring at each other going, should we do the Isaiah thing? No, that's crazy. We can't do that.
can't do
Well,
it.
maybe we could get one segment out of it. And then
All right,
the
what do you-
callers go nuts.
What side of the argument do you want to do? Can I
flip a
please?
coin.
Can I please be the guy who doesn't think that they're going to be better without him? Can I please be that guy?
You pay for the Chinese food.
Yeah.
I'll say that
Yeah.
they're better off without him.
You owe me on the next 2.
Right.
You owe me on the next 2 when they want to bench Tom Brady after a preseason loss where he only played the first quarter, and they're asking for Garoppolo again. I want to be the guy arguing for Tom Brady.
There was some great Boston sports media stuff in the 48 hours. Like Isaiah goes down, and then one of the guys, I think Tony Maserati, who's on the show with Felger, had this tweet where it was basically like, it's hard not to conclude that the Celtics and Isaiah haven't quit on the season. Meanwhile, Isaiah's got like a torn labrum in his hip.
He said it's hard to conclude that what?
That they haven't quit on the season. Basically, he's saying like they've packed it in. And it's
Well,
like, well,
those
I'm pretty
first
sure
two-
Isaiah's hit packed it in. I don't know if he packed it in. I think that.
But it's also, I think that not only the Cavs were arrested, I thought they came in with a chip on their shoulder. I thought it bugged them that we were the #1 seed.
Yeah,
And-
it wasn't great. I went to
and-
game 1. It was over in 3 minutes.
Yeah. I unfortunately was traveling. I think it was in Saskatchewan for the
Oh God.
the great town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. You have no idea how psyched everybody
You go to
goes.
Canada. You must love it though.
I love it, but everybody goes to the major ones, and those people, as happy as they are for you to go there, they're never going to be happier than if you go to Saskatoon or Regina, Winnipeg. They're psyched, finally, I don't have to drive 8 hours to go to your show. But then the other cities like the Torontos, the Montreals, and Vancouvers, when you go to those cities, what's great is just the cosmopolitan experience and all these incredible restaurants and all that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, dude, the food in Canada is unbelievable. Unbelievable. In Winnipeg, specifically.
You must love just putting on the Canadian Sports Center and it's 28 straight minutes of hockey.
It's the
leading
greatest. It's the greatest. And they and then you draw, I was working up there with this guy, Nate Craig. He came up out of Wisconsin. He's a really good hockey player. And we drove by this basketball court, and there's all this wood around the court. And he goes, dude, that's for a rink. They're just going to flood that. And I think when I was in Ottawa, I played on a flooded basketball rink. So it was this really small rink. And it's I can't even tell you how fun it is. Everybody who bitches about the winter,
Yeah.
it's if you did that, you'd actually be excited that it was getting cold out. I felt like a little kid. I did a whole tour through Canada maybe 3 years ago, and I brought my hockey stuff because everybody kept going nah, dude, we got stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you do, and I know what that smells like, and I'm not putting that stuff on. So
Yeah.
I hated going to and from the airport, but when I would be suiting up or whatever, just having my own stinky, sweaty stuff was, I'm too old. You get to a point as a guy, you're too old to have a roommate. You get too old to be single. There's certain things. And at some point, I don't know what age, I got too old to borrow somebody's stinky hockey stuff. I couldn't do it. So
My son, after the 2014 playoffs, my son got super into hockey and wanted to play it. So we got him skates, started playing. There was 2 rinks in LA. And I was thinking
they might be down to 1.
Yeah.
I heard Pickwick's closing. So
Well,
I think
if Pickwick closes, it's done.
no, it's Valley Ice. You still got Valley Ice out in Sherman Oaks.
There used to be more than one closed in Culver City. But anyway,
Yep, Culver City, that one. I went to that one when I did your show and Wayne Gretzky was on. He told me that the Kings used to practice there.
Right.
And he said you could stand at the blue line, not move your feet, and you would slowly move down towards the goal because it was that uneven
It's
after
terrible.
all the earthquakes and stuff. But that was a great rink, though, man.
oh, well, but the thing is, I mean, it was so hard to get him to these different places. And then the ice times and everything, it was it just wasn't worth it. And it started to discourage him from playing. Whereas if you lived in Saskatchewan, your dad just like pours water on the driveway and you're skating around. I mean, it's such an it's amazing. There are any American hockey players.
When you're in Ottawa, they have like this little canal. You know, it's in its own. I didn't know how deep it was. I mean, I immediately, when I started skating on it, was thinking about the omen that I was going to go underneath it. People would be digging on the ice trying to save me, but I guess it's only like 2 feet deep. So they flood it during the wintertime, and it goes like right through the middle of the city, and people like skate to work. You can go get like hot chocolate and stuff. I mean, it's like you're in some Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And then they had a free outdoor rink. Like there's just these women like figure skating. Another guy was just skating around with like a puck and stuff, and I was like, do you gotta pay? Like, oh no, it's free. Go ahead, go have a good time. And just like nice as hell. And I mean, as much as I loved it, Nate, who I just worked with, like he wants to not only move, he wants to marry a Canadian woman. Like he's in. He's just in. He's just like, this is the nicest stuff.
Well, think about if basketball worked that way, and none of our basketball players, all of them, if they ever like shot basketball, they would have to like drive 25 minutes to go play for an hour.
Oh yeah, and buy like $500 worth of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be out. We'd be done. The basketball, you just go outside, you shoot. And in hockey, you know, no wonder the Canadians are still killing us. Although we have more Americans than we've had probably at any point that are good.
I have to be honest with you. Once they got all the players from around the world and most of the names became difficult to pronounce, that's when I kind of, like back in the day, it was just Canadians and a few Americans.
Yeah.
And then once they opened it up, which has been a great thing. It's been great for the NBA. It's, you know,
a great thing in the 80s. I remember really resenting the Stastny brothers.
Oh, you didn't like that?
I was just like, who are these guys?
I would just assume they were Canadian. The guys, they played for the Nordiques, right?
Yeah.
Marion, Anton, and Peter, right?
They were like Czechoslovakia or something.
Oh, they were. That's right. Yeah. That's right. And they were all in the same line. Like, what is the odds of that? Other than like the Sutter brothers were like 6 out of 7.
Right.
All made it to the
and you know a couple of them barely made it and were like black sheepy, but they just at that point it was just bet on the Sutters. They really
they were all kind of good to like really good to like all stars. They were they were just all. I think I've seen this story like a zillion times. I can't believe I forgot it. But there was just a bunch of. They grew up on a farm, you know, did all that farm work all day, and then their idea of playing was beating the crap out of each other playing pickup hockey.
All of them had like faces that looked like they'd been broken.
Nah, yeah, they were cool. They're definitely.
You know, he was the Kings coach, Daryl, and his son was special needs and would wear a Kings jersey every game, and they would show him on the jumbotron. Mm-hmm. And after like year 3, year 4, he became like the most popular Kings fan. And when they needed to get the crowd going, they would show him Chris Sutter. And he would do this whole thing, like this Hulk Hogan. He'd Hulk up. He'd go crazy.
That's great.
And the crowd would go bonkers. And then they fired Daryl Sutter this spring. And it's like, I've never seen anything like this before because it's like all the Kings fans are like, so we're going to lose Chris, right? Like Chris was like the guy at the games. So they lose him because they fired his dad. I can't imagine he would go to the games. It's like,
I can't imagine the Kings didn't see that coming because eventually
they should have like hired him.
It's going to happen. Like, you're going to go your separate ways with the coach.
It's a double loss. But hockey coaches never seem to last more than a couple years, except for the true greats.
Somebody tweeted something funny saying every coach in the NHL looks like a Bond villain, and I started looking. That kind of is true. It kind of is true. But hey, how about the Yankees, huh? You don't like that?
I like that they're relevant again because I didn't feel like I cared about the Sox-Yankee rivalry anymore.
That's never fun. But now we're the evil empire, man.
I know. Now it's more like we're the 03 Yankees.
We're the inept. The inept empire. When Steinbrenner, rest his soul, was saying nothing he liked better. I used to always joke than a 37-year-old future Hall of Famer. He loved to pick up that last contract and give him an extra $10 million. And there was some. I'm not going to name the names, but there was some bad endings of careers during the he just was one of those just bad luck guys where he didn't get one with them. But the Reds, I feel like we're going to gel. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to go on a run. But, like, how the fuck did the Yankees always find... They always find that guy. Like, he can't just be good. He's got to be like a hero. Like this guy, like
Aaron Judge.
yeah, he's all like humble and stuff. He's like a 6'7" right fielder. I read this whole thing in Sports Illustrated. He's like, where does he lives? He like lives in a hotel in Times Square because he's not sure if he's going to make the team yet.
Yeah, he's got 18
and he's all
homers.
humble and he's
Yeah.
handling the media effortlessly. It's like, is this going to be another Roy Hobbs Yankee guy? You know it is. Like, I just wish they could have guys that I could hate again. Like, I couldn't hate Jeter. You know, as much as in the beginning.
I had trouble hating him too.
Yeah, it's just he was. What you're basically you hate greatness. I mean, what is he doing? He's doing his job.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk trash.
Classy guy.
I love when he would argue a call too. He never got in the ump's face. He had this thing. He kind of grabbed like the ear hole on his helmet, and he would sort of stand perpendicular to him, and he just kind of he wouldn't get in his face,
Right.
and just kind of in his own way handled it with respect. Let him know that he didn't agree with it. I never saw him get it. Do you ever get ejected? I don't think I ever saw him get ejected.
No, the smartest NBA players do that too. They don't get mad right away. They kind of walk over and they put the hand on the side and just kind of rip into the ref.
Yeah.
Like, God, that was fucking terrible. You're the worst. But
Do they say
kinda
stuff
under their
like
breath,
that?
Yeah. They'll get mad. They'll get mad at the refs, but the smart ones, the refs don't want to be shown up.
Don't show him up. Yeah.
They don't want to see. They don't want to replay with Kobe yelling the F-bomb at you, and you know it's on Twitter. But yeah, no. The thing with the Red Sox, you know, they brought this guy Dombrowski in to run the team, and he's one of those guys like prospects. They might not pan out. Let's turn them into stars now, and which works sometimes, but.
Right.
When it does work out, you feel like you almost cheated. Like Chris Sale's amazing. We gave up 2 of our best prospects for him. He's amazing.
So what
But
you're saying? Did we get him as a free agent?
No, we traded for him.
We traded for him, okay.
We traded 2 of the best prospects in the organization.
Okay.
So, you know, that's kind of the big market bully move, right? Where you're like, we're going to take your best pitcher, but here's some 2 prospects, and they might work out, they might
Right.
not. And then they traded for Pomerantz, which was another one of those big market moves where you go, all right, here are 2 prospects. We'll take this guy too. And in that case, he's been terrible. Mm-hmm. One of the prospects is already starting for the Padres. It's like you can't win either way with this thing. You know, Sale's awesome.
So how we spent like $210 million. Because
Something like that.
Yeah, but when I look on the field, I don't
Feels
see.
dirty.
I don't feel like super. No, we
It does. It feels a little
became
like
what
the
we were
Yankees.
talking about. But we had already done that. We did that in 07. Like 07 was ridiculous.
See, I always thought after we won 3 World Series, I just would have been like, let's just build around the kids. Everybody's cool with that. Just stockpile awesome young kids, and we can watch them.
I've only
blossom.
seen a few games. I keep raving about our outfield like it's the most talented since
and nobody's
Rice,
really hitting
Yastrzemski,
yet.
and Lynn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come out of it though. They're just having the slump early. It's better than a collapse in September. We'll see.
Well, I told you, Benintendi has the last time we did this. Benintendi has a chance to be the all-time ladies' man out of any Boston sports guy.
Who?
Benintendi, Andrew Benintendi.
I don't know who that is.
You really haven't watched the Red Sox.
No, I haven't.
You've been touring.
No, I know like Xander Bogaerts. I know Pedroia. What else?
So Benintendi is the Fred Lynn. He's kind of Fred Lynn
Oh yeah,
reincarnated.
the Italian dude. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay, I just
From
that's
Cincinnati.
that's a tough name to remember when you only seen a
Yeah,
couple games
listen,
a year. All right. Yeah. Okay. He I have seen.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential to
Well, this is always the time of year I'm watching the Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Final.
he got it.
Then they go Jeter. And then
Sued.
Jeter leaves. He's gone for 1 year. 1 year they don't have the do the right stuff astronaut guy, and then in comes this guy like to fill the void. And it's always from their system too, other than the Babe Ruth thing. But like it's always from their system, and you know.
Well, this was out of nowhere because I'm in this crazy American League only fantasy league where you draft minor leaguers, and like this guy in our league got traded for Mike Trout by this team that was trying to win the title. So he traded Aaron Judge for Mike Trout, and none of us were like, "Oh, you just gave up the next Babe Ruth."
Right.
Like it just was not like that.
Yeah.
So it happens. That's the thing with prospects.
I know,
Sometimes
but how
they
many?
blossom.
But here's the thing, though: the fact that they've been able to do it
I know.
so consistently. Do you realize that the 1980s was the only? I'm like a total nerd for stats and stuff. Like the 1980s is the only decade the Yankees haven't won a title. How insane is that?
Well, in this decade.
This day, well, it's not over
Yeah.
yet. Is all I'm saying.
I still feel like the 2 titles that bother. Actually, there's 3 that bother me the most as a sports fan because it ruined the narrative I wanted in my head. One was the
That's very mature that you realize that.
I'm selfish. The 09 Yankees bothers me because it would have been so much fun if they just never won a title with A-Rod. And A-Rod was credited as the guy who literally ruined Yankee pride. And
I was kind of hoping that after the collapse in '04 that they never won another one for a while, and it would be like, and there would
That's
be,
what I mean.
be some sort of thing like that. And
And
I
it
wasn't
just
gonna,
would
but I
still
wasn't just
going.
going to put it on A-Rod. I want just.
all right,
Yeah.
so the combo of the '04 comeback and A-Rod, and then it's just that the Yankee fans become like sad Mets fans. Like the Mets
Yeah.
fans are sad now, and the Mets made us really unhappy in the mid '80s, and now it's kind of come around, and now they become
you can
sad
never hate
sacks
Mets
again.
fans because they've always been like the ugly sister in that.
I don't
town.
hate Mets fans. I hated them for years. So that was one title. Another one was when Peyton Manning beat Rex Grossman in the Super Bowl. If Brady just holds on and completes the 3rd and 3, and Manning never wins the Super Bowl, and then finally gets it as this decrepit guy on Denver who the defense won it to him, that would have been fantastic. And then I really am bummed that Kobe won a title without Shaq, because that would have been fun to make jokes about. You only won because of Shaq.
Yeah.
You never won one on your own.
Well, at some point, you just got to admit you were wrong that maybe Kobe could play a little bit.
I was wrong on all three. Yeah. I was like, Kobe's too selfish. She can't. I was writing my book, and I had to hand it in the spring. And the last chapter was about the secret of basketball. And I go to Bill Walton, and he's like my guru. And,
Right.
and we can't agree on how Kobe played and all this stuff. But then Kobe had just won the title, and it completely changed, what the theme of my book was, that unselfish play, chemistry, teamwork. That's what always is going to trump people like Wilt and Kobe. And then Kobe won the title.
Yeah.
Taking like 28 shots a game.
Well,
Ordering everyone
wasn't
around.
that was that awful Game 7, right? Where they won it from the line.
That was the 2010. That was,
Yeah,
that
but
was
then
when they repeated. 09 was when the Magic beat LeBron, and then Kobe beat the Magic.
Okay. It was the next year that.
Yeah, the next year the Celtics should have won. And
Well, and I would never say they should have won. What I would have said.
I'm going to say it.
I always know it would have been nice to see whatever team was going to win that game. That it wouldn't be taking unguarded shots from the foul line. Just you can't call ticky tack. I mean, the
Yeah.
Celtics and Lakers are the NBA. That would have been nice, but I don't.
Did you watch the lottery?
No, I didn't know what was happening, dude. I was up in Saskatchewan.
You're really.
I was completely out of the loop.
You're
I had no idea.
touring
I had no
Canada.
idea. Giselle said something about Brady's concussions and
That wasn't great either.
I didn't hear anything about that.
That was tough because
Yeah, but
know
she's
it's
a
true.
model. You know what I mean? What's her idea of a concussion? She twists her ankle on like they always do that thing where they walk with the high heels and they start doing. It's like you're on a skateboard that's going 90 miles an hour, but they're just walking. Maybe I don't know. I think he's all right.
The wives know everything, because it's always like when your wife tells you something. Hey, Mary told me this, but you can't tell her husband. You're always gonna. It's always
Right.
gonna be
It's
that circle.
gonna go
and
around. Yep. It's gonna
So
come
he
around.
must have told her. Yeah. Remember the Super Bowl when I hit my head in that Falcons game? I got a concussion. She wouldn't
I
have made
don't
that
know.
up. Is my point.
He's been doing it too long to be.
I think these guys are like. I think football players and hockey players. They're just not, if they have a concussion and they feel like they can play, they're not telling the doctors some of the times. Especially in hockey, I know for a
Maybe it's
fact that
because he
happens
had
in
a
hockey.
concussion. He didn't. That thing that says, "Hey, don't tell your wife this." It wasn't going.
He forgot to tell her.
Yeah. Jesus. That's scary, man.
Yeah. Well, what a time for a break. Let's talk about propercloth.com. Every guy knows that it's hard to find a dress shirt that fits. Maybe the collar's too tight, the sleeves are too long, the shirt's too loose. I have some good news.
Maybe
By the
you
way,
ate too much.
everyone always says that you're the best at doing the reads of anyone.
Yeah, because I would have said
The Michael
maybe
Jordan
you
reads.
ate too much. Quit blaming the clothes.
Order a custom fit.
Maybe you need to do some cardio.
Custom fit shirt has never been easier thanks to Proper Cloth. Create a custom shirt size in seconds by just answering 10 easy questions. No measuring required. Over 500 fabric styles to choose from. Everything from classic business to casual shirts. All high quality starting at just $85. When you go to Canada, what are you packing? Like 2 suitcases? You got to bring the heavy jackets, right? It's cold.
No, this time of year, no.
One
I just-
suitcase? Are you
I
carrying on? You trying to jam
carry
with a
on
carry-on?
backpack? That's it. If I didn't have to do my podcast when I was on the road, I would be just the one bag guy.
Okay.
Backpack. That's the pro. That's the pro.
Proper Cloth guarantees a perfect fit. Remakes are free. The Proper Cloth team makes it super easy to do. Stop wearing shirts that don't fit. Look your best. Go to propercloth.com/BS. Enter gift code BS to save $20 on your first shirt. Again, propercloth.com/BS. Gift code BS. You've had the podcast even longer than I have.
10 years.
I was May 2007 And I think you were like even earlier than that. I was all proud. I felt like I was like the first guy with the podcast. But
No, I
you
think
even
might
beat
have.
that.
I think it was May 2007. I was about to
We
say.
were right around the same time.
I think so. Well, I just did my 10th anniversary one. Whenever I said that, my producer knew that it was a 10-year anniversary. I thought I started in July. He's like, no, it's May. Check it out. And he had the first one that I did, which was like literally like 20 seconds long.
What were you just doing, like riffing?
No, I didn't know what a podcast was. And this comedian, Robert Kelly, lived around the corner from me in New York. And he just said you should do one. And I had a little flip phone. And you called this number and it recorded you on the phone. So my original like year and a half, 2 years was me on the phone, just walking through airports, ripping on fat
With a
people.
flip phone?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had a flip phone back then. Yeah, I had a flip phone right up because I had a headshot on a flip phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
And
a
that's how it
I'm not
started?
a technology guy.
But now you're bringing equipment on the airplane. That's more than I
Yeah,
did last
no,
week.
but
I forgot to bring mine.
But it's like it's like a $90 mixer.
Yeah.
You know, plug a mic in. I don't have all that. I don't have theme music. Like my whole I got into this business to not have a job.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get involved in all these there's two ways to do it. You can keep it. I'm doing the independent movie version of it. And then other people do like a superhero movie version of it where they get logos and drop cloths and studios and shit. And
I'm like right dead center between those two worlds.
yeah, I don't know. This is pretty nice. It's pretty swank.
But this is my office. I just
Oh,
have
all right.
2 microphones and a microphone stand.
Oh, all right. Well, I thought this was just your podcast thing. I don't know.
No. This is
Sitting
my
on a
office.
studio lot. Going,
This is where
yeah,
I
I'm
have
kind of in
meetings."
the middle. I'm in Hollywood on a lot. You got to check in with the guard to get in it to do this podcast. This is like upper class stuff.
All right,
I
maybe
don't
it's
know what
upper middle class.
what that Larry Bird thing is, but I know you bought it because that is the worst Larry Bird.
No,
What is
so
that? That
one
doesn't
of-
even look like him.
A
And why
friend
does
of mine
he
gave it to me.
He has the neck of a football player.
Yeah, it's a freezer activated. What does it say? Puppet.
Puppet cooler.
It's a puppet cooler.
Double-sized
It's a Larry
puppet
Bird
cooler.
puppet cooler.
That is roided up Larry Bird.
It's
Like if he played baseball in the late 90s and was chasing.
I'm gonna put a
Sosa
picture of it on
McGuire.
Instagram so people know
Oh,
what
yeah,
you're
they
talking
gotta
about.
see that. That is,
one of the great things about rooting for Larry Bird in the 80s was he was responsible for more ugly posters and ugly paraphernalia than any athlete of all time.
Oh,
I
was
mean,
he?
there's like 30, like the worst T-shirts that made
Yeah.
his face look like a bird.
Well, back then they used to have things where like the NBA, like their licensing and stuff. Like I just remember like Stop and Shop would just hand out Celtics shirts
Right.
after they won, and they
Yeah,
would
they
just
didn't
say
police it.
Celtics NBA '84 NBA World
Yeah.
Champions, and then it would say Stop and Shop. Their logo would be on the bottom. And that was long before before Fenway Park bought up like all the blocks like around it, and
Right.
I mean you can't even walk by the park unless you have a ticket on game day. Yawkey Way and all those, they own everything there. You have to.
I've never really read the right story to find out how they pulled that off. Because that was
They pulled it off. They
how
threw
many
a bunch of
palms
money.
were greased, what they actually paid to do it. There had to be the
South
two
Park.
holdouts.
You ever see that South Park episode
Which one?
when they had how Magic Johnson beat HIV, and they just had a blender and he was just putting gold and cash in there, and then it would come out as a drink and he would drink it.
Well, there had to have been 2 people that were like, "Nah, I'm not selling. I'm not selling. No price is high enough." And at some point, they just broke those people down. You know? There's this famous story on it's on Highland in Hollywood, basically, where there's all this construction now. Like this part of Hollywood is really like buildings going up left and right.
Yep.
And these people wanted to put up this giant building. There was this hot dog burger stand that was pretty famous.
Yeah, I remember that place.
And the guy wouldn't sell. And they're like, here's $2 million. The guy's like, nope. 3 million, nope. But they really needed his territory because it was the last part for the building. And then all of a sudden the burger stand was gone. And we were always like, God, how much? He
what did
probably
he
made
give?
like 10 million just for this burger stand. But that's basically what the Red Sox did. They just bought out all the land and probably did some strong
love those
arming.
places, by the way.
The old school.
I love those
stands.
places. Yeah, as long as there's not a line down the street. Once somebody on the Food Network comes by and like, this is the spot you got to go to, and then you
Right.
can't go to it for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And you always can tell when they rerun the episode. When you show up, like, fuck, they rerun the episode. I got to stay away for another 6 months. But I love those types.
The LA truck scene's pretty big out here, but now there's like apps telling you where they are. You can't discover anything anymore. There's a
Yeah,
whole science
that's-
to everything.
Yeah, and then
There
everybody
can't just
knows.
be the burger stand that's on this corner that nobody knows about. And it's a big whisker.
Yep, everything's a boy band now.
Whisper
It just
campaign.
blows up and then implodes within
When
like
you-
3 years.
When you go back for Red Sox games, are you just blown away by how different it is? Because I'm always amazed. Like I still
Oh, yeah.
can't get over the fact that people can sit on the Monster. It's been like 12 years.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's
I
like
used to-
landing
and then I was also when they put the Coke bottles up there, they took them down. But when they had it up there and they started writing all over the wall. But now when I look back to what it looked like when I was a kid, it's like, wow, that was a real kind of plain Jane looking field.
It really was.
Because if you look at like Ebbets Field and all those, like the whole outfield wall was billboards.
Yeah.
So I like all the stuff that they've done to it. I don't like that you can't walk around the park. You know, all of a sudden, like a public street closes before the game. That's a little like military police to me. But
Wait, let's talk hockey because I had some
Okay.
mailbag questions I wanted to
Okay.
go through with you. But
that was an abrupt change. You're like, I am.
I know
bored
why
with this.
I'm on a schedule. I'm on a schedule.
Huh? Hey, I
We're half
respect
hour
it.
in.
I respect your schedule.
So
Successful people all have a schedule. And they adhere to it.
that felt like a compliment and an insult.
No, my wife tweeted something to me. Since I don't know, sent a link. I don't know how the fuck you say it, but it was just like the top 20 things that super rich people do. And the one that I related to the most is they don't take meetings unless there's an offer on the table because it's just a time sponge. And I was just like, I started to understand why they have drivers because you can just get so much done in. They're like, oh, rich people understand that there's 1,440 minutes in a day. They try to, you know, they get.
That's hilarious.
I know. It's like, did they know that? Did they break it down to that level? Like, who wants to hang out with that guy?
Well, anyone who's ever moved out here has this stage when people are asking you to go to lunch or meetings or whatever. Hey, and it takes like about 9 months to realize that it's a complete waste of time and totally
Yeah,
stupid
they just
to do it.
yeah.
Hey, we'll go. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, let's keep talking.
Such a big
And
fan.
then-
Yeah, try the sandwich.
yeah,
And then
great,
nothing
okay.
comes of it.
Nothing happens. Yeah, I'll call you a couple threes.
Bunch of empty calories. You're going home bloated. You just keep getting fatter, and then no one wants to book you. Hey, he's like him. He got fat. He took too many meetings.
So hockey playoffs. We had a Final Four of Pittsburgh, Ottawa, who was like brought back the corpse of the '95 Devils and kicked it around a couple times. It just brought that whole style back. Nashville,
You don't think Anderson's a big part of that? Their goaltending's been crazy.
and he's been good. And
Are
Anaheim.
they dropping 3 on the blue line? I didn't notice that. I just couldn't understand
There's
why.
a lot of clutter and clogging. And then Nashville and Anaheim, and it's like you can't get less star-studded than that other than Pittsburgh. For like the casual fans just look at that and go, I'm out.
Hey, you know what?
They needed Edmonton.
Fuck the
but
casual
I'm
fan.
setting you up for the fuck the casual
Fuck the
fans.
casual
Here we
fan.
go.
If you can't get into the conference finals,
There you go.
You're not a casual fan. You're just not a fan. And I'm so sick of people that aren't hockey fans telling them how to fix the game. Just leave it alone. Nashville is one of the great stories. Their fans are insane. They went from not knowing shit about hockey to having some of the greatest chants. They stole a lot. You know, it's all your fault. I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
that on college games. But like, you're sitting there listening. For half a second, it sounded like a soccer game, you know, where they're singing songs and shit. And Section 303, they're getting all these write-ups and stuff. And it's just a great environment. And then I was just talking about this. As a Boston fan, I love that the Canadians traded PK Subban for whoever the hell they got, and now this guy can win a cup. To me, it's going to be the Patrick Waugh thing all over again.
We had him
It'll
on-
just be something that I can tease him about.
Yeah.
Because they have way more cups than we're ever going to. I mean, we need like,
And they owned
with
us
30
for
teams now, then
decades.
the only way
Yeah.
to catch them is, I don't know, you'd have to play for another 2 centuries. Then they'd have to suck for 200 years.
He came on my pod in February, I think. What was it, February? March. Sat on that couch. And at that point, they were doing fine. They weren't
Yeah,
like
they were all right.
running away with it or anything. And we were like, "What? So what do you think? Do you think you can win?" And he was like, "Absolutely. I really like." But the way he said it, I was kind of like, should I put some down on this? He seemed pretty confident. But he
Goaltending
did seem
again.
confident.
Pecorine has been playing crazy. And
So you're more pro Bettman than I am. I hate the fact that they expanded to places like Phoenix and all these stupid
I hate it
places.
too.
But Nashville is the big success story.
yes. Well, look.
Nashville's like a real market that they've created out of thin air.
Smashville is what they call it. They got a
It's-
nickname. They
it's
got
a
everything.
huge part of the city. They had they did a nice job with those Star Spangled Banners. They had all these different celebrities. People are wondering like if they, Game 3 of the Cup, what celebrity would come in and
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Kelly
all.
Clarkson.
It's a
did it one
bonus.
time. Yeah, well, if the other cities if they embraced hockey it's all about the environment. You go down there, it's like you always got to give like an expansion team a little bit of time for it to see if it gels with the city. But it was the combination of going south and then teams leaving Canada. And it was the thing that I always thought, which was great about hockey, was I liked all the weirdness. I loved the 2 national anthems.
Yeah,
I
me
loved
too.
3 20-minute periods.
The fact that Winnipeg and Edmonton had teams was just insane. These little 2 tiny cities.
Yeah, Calgary. And I liked... and then back then, too, all the teams were so smashed in together.
Yeah.
It was like you could knock out, if you wanted to, go see all the baseball parks, if you wanted to go to all the hockey arenas, if you just went, you could have saw Quebec Nordiques, Canadians, Buffalo, Hartford, Boston,
Detroit.
Long Island, Rangers. I'm just going on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Just driving.
True.
The Devils, the Flyers, and the Capitals and Penguins. I mean, that's half the league was just all jammed up there in the Adams and the Patrick's division, and they hated each other. And you could, whatever game they had was like a 3-hour, 4-hour drive in your car if you wanted to, if you were that much of a lunatic. But I think now because of that got into favor with the 24-hour sports networks and all these behind-the-scenes things. You could really learn about these other teams rather than sports just being 5 minutes at the end of a newscast. Like one of the things that made me go to all the ballparks was watching This Week in Baseball. Like every Saturday with Mel Allen, I would see all these ballparks, and I just thought like the fountains in Kansas City were cool. I liked the King Dome. I thought AstroTurf was the shit. When I was in the 70s, for some reason I didn't realize how much it was hurting the players. But once like ESPN and all that came out,
simpler times.
Yeah, and you just learned about all these places, and I don't know what happened. Like only an airline travel went through the roof. Now I guess everybody does it, but back then, of all the sports, you could go see half the league in your car. Like the NHL was it.
I watched Bad News Bears and Breaking Training with my son over the weekend, which is the second one, the sequel, when they drive to Astrodome in a stolen van.
Yeah,
and some really.
And the last one was in Japan, right?
Yeah, we don't talk about that one. It's a 2-movie franchise. Japan never happened, but the Astrodome, it's vintage Astrodome, and the bull blowing out the smoke, and and my son was watching. He's like, "Dad, this stadium's so stupid." And I was like, "This is 40 years ago. This is it. This is all we had. This was the coolest stadium."
I love those teams.
You forget how many years ago that
Cruz,
was.
J.R. Richards.
Oh yeah, well Bob Watson has a cameo in it.
Oh, he does.
He starts to let them play. He starts it at the end when little Tanners.
I went to a game there. Yeah. I went to the Astrodome.
I did too.
I've gone to a bunch of that are no longer there anymore.
Yeah, those old concrete domes are basically gone.
Did you ever go to County Stadium, Milwaukee
I have
Brewers?
Actually.
Yeah, that was an interesting one too. I liked that one.
I think I went in both. I went with the old one and then the new one. The old one had the guy that slid down the slide.
And in the 70s, though, it was a big boobed woman. A guy would hit a home run, and then some, big boobed woman would slide down a slide into a keg of beer. It was supposed to be a keg of beer, and it was like the Ron Burgundy years in the.
That sounds like an F is for Family plot.
Yeah, well, that's been so much fun with F is for Family. Is like just. The people in the Rise Room will remember stuff like that. We'll be like, they didn't do that. Like, look it up. Look at that. YouTube, you put it on. And then we'll laugh. And then it's just like, all right, we got to do something like that. And we'll just
I mean, you could
knock
just
it up a little bit.
You could just mine old Three's Company's episodes and get 28
Oh, I
different...
loved Larry upstairs. I mean, that guy was just like...
plots.
He's just banging every night. He was like 50. Just didn't care. All hairy and stuff. That guy was hilarious.
The hockey thing, though. Didn't you feel like they kind of needed Edmonton in there? I mean, I know, whatever, it's conference finals. It's fun anyway. But
No,
I was enjoying the McDavid experience.
Yes, but I also think no matter what happens, people are going to complain
that somebody's not in there?
In this country, because there's too many people who don't watch it. So there's always going to be, like, the easiest thing, the best thing, I think, for the NHL a lot of times, aside from teams that have big stars, is 2 original 6 teams.
Yeah.
Because anybody who doesn't even know anything about hockey, it's easy for them to jump on the bandwagon,
Right.
Well, they last met in 1958, one of the original 68. Like, they'll be able to talk about it. But, when it's Anaheim, Nashville, and Ottawa in there, that's work. Then you have to do your job. You know,
Anaheim was not work though for me anyway because I can't stand Anaheim, and they have
a lot of people don't
if
like
you
them.
can't get behind hating Perry, then I don't know
My whole
what to
thing is I
tell
could
ya.
just never
And
get past
Getzlaff,
that it was Disney owned and they actually were called the Mighty Ducks.
It's amazing.
And that they now just go by the Ducks and they're trying to have a tougher looking uniform. It's like, no, you're the Mighty Ducks. You guys are mighty. You are the Emilio Estevez.
So
hockey
you're in
team.
on Nashville. Whatever happens, it sounds like you're on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I actually like.
I agree with your Canadians' logic. It would be pretty funny if that trade ended up winning Nashville.
Oh,
the
just
cup.
because their ownership, the amount of complaining that they're gonna have to listen to from their fan base if that actually happens, will be enjoyable. But I am as much as it's surprising that Nashville's made the finals. What Ottawa's doing is crazy. I mean, Anderson, as much as you're saying, I guess they're playing like what, a lock or a trap defense. I don't watch it at that level, but I just know Anderson's their goaltender's been playing unbelievable. And their Dave Grohl looking defenseman. Every good defenseman looks like Dave Grohl in the NHL. You got your guy on the Kings. I'm so bad
Downey?
with names. Yeah, Downey looks. Yeah, never seen Dave Grohl at a game either. So I don't know. I think when he's not doing a Foo Fighters album.
Quick break to talk about Hotel Tonight. If you're like me and you're not so great at planning ahead, I've got some good news for you. There's an awesome app called Hotel Tonight that helps you find amazing hotel deals at the last minute. Unlike flights, hotel rates usually get cheaper at the last minute. Hotel Tonight helps hotels sell their unsold rooms, allowing them to pass those deals along to you. Not for last resort places, but cool, top-rated hotels. Hotel Tonight has over 15,000 awesome partner hotels in 36 countries, perfect for a spontaneous getaway or a trip you've wanted for a while. Like if your favorite sports team, say, made the NBA Finals. I'm talking to you, Cleveland, San Francisco / Oakland. Even though the app's name is Hotel Tonight, you can book up to a week in advance. All it takes is 10 seconds, just 3 taps, and a swipe. Get in on these killer last-minute deals. Download the Hotel Tonight app right now. Back to Bill Burr. Hey, Mark from Madison in Wisconsin said, I've noticed that in your podcast, you will do sponsor advertisement live reads with most of your guests. However, you'll usually do pre-recorded commercials for your more, let's say, distinguished guests, which isn't technically true because sometimes we're on location and you can't do the ads.
Right.
Would you ever, like, you wouldn't do certain commercials with Barack Obama or Bill Belichick staring at you. My question, what would be the most famous, important, distinguished guest you would feel comfortable doing a live read in front of?
Oh, this is what it really is.
So who's the answer for you? Is there a level?
No, he has a misinterpretation. Is I have another comic in there
Yeah.
and we're doing it, then I'm just going to read them live. If I actually have like somebody who's more like an actor or something like that, and, you know, I just feel like they're not going to riff along with this and it's going to bore them. I just look at it more like it's going to bore them than I'm going to sit there and, you know.
Have you ever had a sponsor get mad because you made a joke?
I've lost a bunch of them.
Jesus. You've
Yeah.
lost sponsors?
Yeah, but I never did it to make money, so it's all free. It's all silly. It's monopoly money. So the thing is, I never talk to any of them either. Like when they want to complain, I am never available. Did you not like it? Do you want your money back? Fine. Fine, but I'm not getting on the fucking phone with you. This is how I'm going to do it. And if you had half a brain, you'd realize that the way I read it makes people listen. I just knew the show doesn't stop. It has to keep being entertaining. So, I mean, I don't say that, I guess I've said that a few times, that the product was stupid. The most infamous one was Nature Box, which I somehow, with my borderline dyslexia, read as Nature's Box, like possessive. And I was like, they're going down on Mother Nature. And I just started reading this stupid thing. It's like, it was just such a service you didn't need. It's like, you don't need these fucking guys. What are you, 2 years old? Just eat a banana. Have a salad. You know what you got to do. This is fucking stupid. And then they got all mad thinking that we cared. Like, you know what we're going to do? What are you going to do? We're going to take the advertisement. Like, all right, see you later. But this is the thing about them, is if they stayed on and they let me say every week some version of You're Going Down on Mother Nature, people would love it. It becomes like a hit song. They want to hear it. And then people are also lazy. They're like, yeah, just bring me the food. I don't have time to go get bananas. And they would have sold. because I do that MeUndies thing. MeUndies, no more sweaty balls. And every time I do it, it's more and more filthy, and they love it, and people buy the fucking underwear.
I did a MeUndies last week. I was talking about how they have these certain boxers where they're just like these loose boxers, and I like them. I mean, they're my favorite ones. And I said how they let the boys. I like to let the boys roam the ranch. And then Tate afterwards like, do you want to keep that? I'm like, yeah, let's keep it.
No, that's what they want. They want you to know that you're using the product.
So the NBA awards are coming on TNT on June 26th. Show will be hosted by Drake, and we'll get to find out the awards for MVP, Rookie of the Year, all that stuff, as well as awards voted by fans for things.
It's going to be hosted by Drake?
Best dunk and best performance. Hosted by Drake.
Why?
Why is it hosted by Drake?
Yeah, why not like Dr. J or basketball? They're trying to. Everything's about getting all these different. All these different people to watch, right?
Yeah. If Drake's hosting, maybe somebody who's
into Drake but doesn't watch basketball will then watch and be like, oh, hey, maybe I'll give basketball a chance.
Maybe I'll give
if Drake's watching it, I think Drake is cool, then maybe this is cool to watch. So but he does have like season tickets. He always goes to the Toronto games.
I think he's actually a legit fan. I had him when I was doing Countdown. He came on and he was able to have a basketball conversation with us. I was impressed. He does go to Toronto
impressed
games
because how busy that guy is. You wouldn't think he'd have time to keep up on stuff.
True. Although I think
because they're always calling him on his cell phone.
Well,
you used to. My wife listens to all that shit. Tommy. Like I have no idea what any of that stuff is. He's upset a lot.
When you become that famous, I think you spend more time alone than people realize. Because where are you going to go? You're not going to go like to. Oh, I'm going to take a walk down on Melrose. Like he's going to get mobbed. So he's like stuck in his hotel suite half the time. So he probably is watching basketball. Can't you just walk down the street?
Oh my God, you're Drake. You're like, yeah. Yes, I am. What are you doing? I'm going for a walk, man. You just can't do that?
No, you definitely can't.
Well, what do you... Okay, so just put yourself in the place of the other person. What do you do? It's like, yeah, I asked him and he confirmed it. I mean, it's the end.
I think it's more like he's walking and people are like, Drake, can I get a picture? And then you have to stop. You take an iPhone picture and the next guy wants one. And then he's on the corner of Melrose for an hour.
You have the headphones on.
That's LeBron's move.
You have the headphones on.
I think LeBron just walks around with headphones 24 hours a day. So the NBA awards on TNT...
That's fucking hilarious.
I've always wanted an award called the McKeskey, which I have not done yet, for the league's best white player, named after Paul McKeskey. And I think this year the winner is Gordon Hayward.
All right, I don't even know who any of those people are.
Gordon Hayward. You remember Paul McKeskey on the Bucks 30 years ago? He had the Afro perm, big center on the Bucks, goofy center. Celtics played the Bucks that year.
Was the Sidney Moncrief era?
That year, yeah.
I was always trying to remember who. I always get them because
they always
the colors.
had a bunch of white
Jack
centers.
Sikma was Seattle.
They had 3 white centers at the same time: Jack Sikma, Randy Brewer, and Paul McKeskey. McKeskey had this like perm, and you just watched him and you went, "How is this guy in the league?"
Because he's
so
7
I've named
feet
him the
tall.
McKeskey. Yeah. So anyway, I have Gordon Hayward as my McKeskey winner this year.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go through a couple. I'm gonna throw a couple emails.
What about like the white guy out of nowhere for one game award? That's got to be Kelly Olynyk.
Well, that's now the Kelly Olynyk.
The Kelly Olynyk.
I went to that game.
That was like a movie. What was that Robbie Benson movie? You know,
it was one-on-one with Robbie Benson.
Yeah. All of a sudden the guy. Yo, you hot dog, you can stick it up your ass with a red hot poker. Hear me? A red hot poker. And he goes up and just lights him up. He was on fire. They were chanting his name in the garden. It was like a fucking Disney movie. I couldn't believe it. He just kept hitting him, and I was just like, I just did it after being on the wrong side of the poster. I got back in the NBA a year and a half ago, and a buddy of mine, Knick fan, came to town, and so I ordered the NBA package to be, because I'm a good host, right? And I just started watching the Celtics, and they were fun to watch. And I was just like, who the fuck is this guy? It looks like he's in a jam band. Like, what's going on with this guy? Is he a bass player? Just got this guy out there, like waiting for, like a joint behind his ear or something. And I just so wish the Celtics could somehow get to a Game 7 with the Cavaliers, because I need to know.
One more Olynyk game?
I need to know if that was a fluke.
No, it was a fluke. Or if it was 1,000% a fluke.
He's got that thing where
I have your answer already. It was a fluke. No. I went to that game. People leaving, it was a combination of euphoric and everybody just laughing.
Yeah.
It was like, Kelly Olynyk, oh my God. It was just everybody had the same reaction leaving. They couldn't believe it.
But I wasn't sure if it was a little Eli Manning. Where I feel Eli Manning is bored the first 6 to 7 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're like, hey, Eli, I don't know if you're looking at the standings, but you have to win like 8 of the last 9. And then he just goes, oh, all right. Now, and then he just still
just,
has
like,
that same look on his face, but he just gets dialed in. Like he's one. It's like some guys, if it's just a who gives a shit game, that's their attitude. I don't know. What do I know? I tell
Do you have a
jokes.
LeVar Ball point of view? Because I had Mike from Boston ask, has LeVar Ball become the sports version of Donald Trump? He's the Lonzo Ball dad who keeps getting in.
Oh, that guy's hilarious.
See, I think he's hilarious.
Oh my
too.
God, the way he said, he goes, I got a son, he's good. The next guy's even better, and the third one's he goes, I make sons like the way they make cell phones. He goes, each one keeps getting better. I'm like, that's like some of the greatest shit talk I've heard in a long time. I love it, dude. And he's old enough to just be saying crazy shit. And, you know, if people want to stick a microphone in his face, I love how his kids handle it, going like, yeah, you know, dad says crazy shit.
Right.
I'm just out here trying to play. And, no, there's fun. Like Venus and Serena's dad's fun. I love those dads like that. They know the game. They talk shit. And
I'm not positive Venus and Serena's dad. I think he was fun initially. I'm not sure it ended as fun. I think he went a little loopy.
well, I don't know.
I don't totally remember that story. I'd have to research it.
So you just threw that out there?
Well, I
Just trying to have fun here. No, I don't know that it did, but I don't remember how it ended. But I'm just gonna say that. No, I love people like that. Like they just remind me of comedians that don't give a shit, and when you watch them, you know that they don't care who's in the room, and they're gonna say what they want to say. And to me, that's kind of what stand up is. Go up there and say what you think is funny. Don't go up there and be like, well, I want to say this, but if I say that, I'm worried the crowd's going to think that. Then you just dropped everything down like 60% as far, at least for me. This is me selfishly as a comedian. It's like, I want to see you go up there and just the shit that you think by yourself. I want to hear it.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how people look at stuff. So
ESPN put him on First Take with Stephen A. And it was good television, and also illuminated how dumb those shows are. Because they had this one crazy dad comes on. He's just firing back and forth with Stephen A. It was good natured.
Yep.
But it's
I love Stephen A. Smith too. Stephen A. Smith after the Game 7, when he was standing on the court, you know that look he has on his face with his eyebrows are down, where he's waiting to talk. It always cracks me up because he looks like a school kid who's had enough. He's about ready to sucker punch somebody, and I don't know what it is about him. But he was sitting there, and they were going, Stephen A. Smith. There's actually a link lit everything up. They go, in all of your Game 7 scenarios, was there anything in there that said Kelly Olynyk was going to take this game over? And they went to him, he just goes, nothing, not a thing. And he just went off on how insane it was. But he was talking about, the way he was talking about Kelly Olynyk was awesome. And like that guy, like if he didn't do what he did, he could promote wrestlers. He could just like, he is such a great like hype man. Like when he gets into something,
it's all energy.
Or if it's terrible, the way he trashes him is always made me.
Have you ever heard his radio
absolutely
show?
Disgusting, and it just the way he always makes me laugh.
His radio show, which is on, you can get on Sirius out here. I think like I don't know, like 10 o'clock range, but he's just by himself, just making himself get madder and madder about certain things.
Oh, that sounds like my podcast. I want to listen.
Oh, you like it? He had this great one when I don't know if I told this story in the podcast before, but it was right at when the Bulls were like self-combusting.
Right.
And this young guy in the Bulls, Jerry and Grant, had some comment, and Stephen A. was really upset that this guy weighed in because it was between Wade and Butler and those guys. And he's like, guess what, Jeremy Grant? Is it Jeremy or Jerry? Jerry. Guess what, Jerry and Grant? Nobody's talking to you, okay? We don't care what you think, okay? It just started berating him.
like he was in the room?
So upset.
I mean, come on, that's entertaining.
He knows what he's doing. And I think for a while, things swung against him with ESPN, and then you could, once... noise started to matter.
When they fired those 100 people were saying, like, you should have made Stephen A. Smith one of them. And then he played the race card. It was hilarious. He's like, there's plenty of other loud white guys out there. You don't go after them. I was fucking crying. It's fucking hilarious. That guy is fucking hilarious and always needs to be on TV.
Well, I mean, he's on all the time. when people complain about him, it's like there's a reason that they're using him all the time. Like they study this stuff.
Yeah,
they,
he knows
they do
what he's
focus
doing.
groups.
But you know what I
He's
know what I'm
provoking.
doing. I know what I'm doing. When I know that when I do something that the people who are into me are laughing, and half the reason they're laughing is because they want to hear the response from the people that don't want to hear it. So
And it is shtick, because I had him on my podcast at when I was at Grantland, and we were in this little room. It's just me and him, and he unshticked, and it was like, oh, there's
yeah,
it's
but
like
you
a
also
normal
play
guy
in the
to
room.
hang.
But there's also like you also have to entertain. Like people say, like when you do that guy we say on stage, are you like that 24/7? It's like, would you want to be around that?
right.
Some screaming and yelling idiot. Like I'm doing a show. I'm trying to entertain people. So I act stuff out and I do all that. But then afterwards, I just go to a dive bar and I chill out. I'm not going to sit there being like, what's up with these peanuts? Yelling at people.
I think people think like Seinfeld is like that. That if you run into him, he's just gonna be like, so what's the deal with socks? And just goes into that. But that's
no.
the thing. You're not. There's no way to be
No,
like that all the time.
he's,
You'd lose your mind.
Yeah, no.
Anyone
That
who's
guy's-
like
that guy's
that, like
hilarious.
the way they are on TV or in stand up or whatever all the time.
Yeah, it's called being on off stage.
It would be- you'd be a
it's
maniac.
Exhausting. It's
Yeah.
exhausting to be around. No one wants to be around that.
That was always the problem. They always said that was the problem with like Chris Farley and Belushi and some of the guys who ended up having drug issues with SNL. Was when they weren't on SNL, they were trying to be the life of the party all the time, and it's like you just can't
I don't know.
sustain
Yeah.
that.
Who knows why you would do that? But I think it's also like I think it's also like a need to be liked and want to not let people down. So you feel like you have to do stuff. Like
Right.
you're kind of putting other people before your own best self-interest. But like there's a bunch of people from that whole era that just say Chris Farley was the funniest guy ever. I've heard Chris Rock say that, Bob Odenkirk. Just everybody was like, that dude was like, would hurt you. He was so funny.
It seems like it would
it's a
say
shame.
almost unanimous. Everybody agrees on that.
Yeah.
Because there's different types of funny. Like
That was
there's the
20 years
conventional.
ago. Can you
Yeah, I
believe that?
know.
20 years ago.
The guy who's like the combo of physical, I can't believe he's doing that funny, is usually beats all the other funny. Like they always say he would like try to take a shit out the window on the 30th floor and just like fucking
But
crazy stuff.
My thing was his intensity.
Yeah.
And his
Commitment.
physicality, like the way the guy moved, man. He was really fast.
Yeah.
And like I remember him sitting down one time doing like a talk show, and he sat down, he told a joke, and then he snapped his head to the left and snapped to the right, and his hair like changed parts on top of his head the way he did it, and it was just like, even like when he would get really small, like when he was doing the guy who lived down by the river, the van down by the river, like he would get really small, and then like he knew how to unleash it,
Right.
and then recoil it and pull it back, but he was just so like. So intense and seemed like a really sweet guy too. Like they were talking about he was maybe going to do some dramatic stuff. I bet he would have killed that.
You never got to see Kinnison, did you?
Never saw him live. No.
They always said in person he was the force of nature aspect of it was pretty great.
Yeah, I mean I can't imagine seeing that. Those were like he died like right as I started.
Yeah.
I think he died in like 93 maybe. I was started in 92, but he was a big one for me to watch. Just 'cause-
I remember when he was in that Young Comedian special, seeing that for the first time, and it was like a UFO had landed.
Oh yeah, his first Letterman, his first Letterman where Dave is going like, all right guys, I don't know about, like they always sort of act like somebody's dangerous. You really felt it, like we really don't know what the hell this guy's gonna do. And,
Yeah.
and he came out and he went up into the crowd. I mean, the balls that takes. Like, what if this doesn't work? What if I walk all the way into the crowd, this bombs, and then I have to do that long journey back out in front of the
Whoops.
cameras? I mean, that would have been like legendary, like bomb it, but it somehow worked. And
What
he-
was your first late night show that you did?
I did Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien was the first one I did.
Was it the whole thing? You had like your best 4 minutes, or did you not even overthink it like that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the best 4 clean minutes that weren't going to offend people and it would have me back and I'd get the job done. That's kind of what the first one's about. It's just like, I just want to get out there, and I actually, by the end, I mean, it took me a number of them to figure out how to do late night. Rich Little was the guy I learned how to do it from, because Dave Letterman, one of his final years, had these old school guys come on.
Yeah.
And he came out, and like I used to always come out like, okay, I'm at a comedy club. I got to get these people, and then really give them the energy and blah 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 blah. And it looks unprofessional on TV. You need to come out there like relaxed, and what you really are doing is you're hosting the show. It's a weird thing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I noticed when he came out, he was just like, I've been doing this for a number of years. And over the years, one of my favorite jokes that I ever got to tell, I'm like, to me already, I'd be in panic mode. Like, holy shit, dude, you just went like, you're going on
like
10
12
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah, and they just settled in like, oh, tell us the story. And bam, hits them. Waits for the laughs. And then, of course, with this guy, and I was just like, oh, that's what you do. So the next time I went out, I was like, all right, this is how you do it. And I just, the most energy I would do, I would just sort of lean in when I did the joke. And then when they laughed, I just would step back. And then when I told it to set up, I'd get to the middle. I was doing this little two-step. And it was just like, oh, my God, I was exerting all of this energy. And all I had to do was just sort of stand there. Because I noticed you can move forward and backwards. But if you move side to side and the camera has to move, it's fucking weird for whatever reason. If you're watching a stand-up special, that's fine, but I just found on late night because nobody's done that movement yet.
Yeah.
And then also they're going to move like that, and all of a sudden you start to see that, oh, the band's right there. There's Dave's desk. You want to stay like right in the alley. Of course, I learned all of this, and then I did it one more time, and then that was the end of it. But I finally figured out how to do it.
Well, now when you do them, you're like on the couch, right?
Yeah, which is then
because that's its own different skill set.
Yes, and what that skill set is here's what we're going to talk about, and that ends after about 30 seconds, and then you're just riffing on something, and then the person will go back to it a little bit or whatever. So that's a...
it seems like Conan's the one that I guess you're the most comfortable with. You've done that one the most times.
He gave me the shot to start doing it. And
yeah.
He's the reason why I can do it on the other shows. But like Conan's and Andy are like old school where if you're doing well, they just let you go and they're laughing and everything. But if you start to, stutter or whatever and falter, Conan will go back to the card. Or Andy's great with Andy's saved me so many times on that show.
Because it seems like when you go on those, your goal is to make Conan either laugh or be uncomfortable. Like
I know that's neither.
That's not true.
I want to make the crowd laugh. I want to go out there and like it's more of a sound.
Oh, that's interesting. So
it's a sound.
Okay.
You have in your head what killing sounds like. So I'm trying to get that sound in the room. Really, is what it really is. It's not like I'm not going out there like, I want to make them laugh. Now I'm going to make them uncomfortable, and it isn't. It's just more like I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk, and I'm trying to think as little as possible. So you can get into the Kelly Olynyk Game 7 zone where no matter what you throw up, it's going to go through the hoop. So they're chanting your name in the end. Yeah, that's basically it. And it's like...
But there's a couple different sounds though, right? Like sometimes the uncomfortable sound is a good sound too.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Last night I had an uncomfortable one that didn't come off the way I would have liked it to. And I seem to have survived it.
You want to tell the story or not?
I'm not really. I mean, it was just one of those stupid, like...
Bad joke and it just died?
No, those upfront things where you're going on in front of these Emmy people and the subject of, like, Trump came up and, of course, everybody's here is like, oh, my God, he's, like, the worst thing ever, doing that red ties are bad, blue ties are good, rather than seeing the common thread. So I tried to see the common thread and everybody, I guess we know who he voted for. It's like, no, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. I didn't vote for any of them. Then they all went, oh, like I was the one who gave it away. It's like Hillary still won this state, you assholes. I mean, what are you talking about? And it was just one of those things where anybody wearing red is just horrific. Like somebody on there was talking about how they were watching CNN at home and then they watched it driving to work. And by the time they got to work, it's like, you got to turn this on, but blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to be like, well, maybe you should have watched the little Fox News too and just sort of leveled out the lies so you wouldn't be like... It's like, why are you watching either one of those? Dude, when Trump won, there was the woman there with the Mary Lou Retton haircut, she like cried. It's like, that's not news you're not supposed to cry. Like, when you watch CNN and you watch Fox, you know who they voted for. So you're not watching like unbiased shit. I just love how they try to act. They actually say that on Fox. Fair and unbiased. Like, both of those channels are two of the funniest channels. If what they were talking about wasn't actually happening, it would be like gut-bustingly funny. But it's just funny to watch them act, that I'm reporting look on their face. It's like these are op-ed pieces.
It's the equivalent of like if you watch NBA League Pass and they have the home team announcers.
Oh, yeah.
And the home team announcers always think they're getting a job by the refs.
Oh, totally.
Tommy Heinsohn, the refs have never, ever been on the Celtics side in any game that's ever happened. But then you go to San Antonio and Sean Elliott's having a stroke every time there's a call against the Spurs.
I love the homers.
That's the way it is. Oh, well, once again.
Who's the guy?
Once again, another call by him. Tommy's freaking out.
I love Heinsohn. The little guy. What? Who's? I always forget his name. Who's the guy who does the play-by-play with the?
Tommy Heinsohn?
Yeah,
Mike Gorman.
Oh,
They've been partners for like 37 years.
When he talked about we had some road game, we were just getting screwed on everyone, and he had a great one because Heinsohn was screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
And Mike just was sort of like low key. He goes, this reminds me of when you'd have an away game with a rival, and the referees were made up of faculty members for the other school. I just love the word faculty. I can't get their feed though when during the playoffs.
Yeah, sometimes they don't do the games. Sometimes it's like
somebody
the
was
national
saying
game.
Shaq was saying how Tommy Heinsohn was going crazy when Kelly Olynyk. I have to find there's got to be audio of him. Somebody must have put a clip together. Him absolutely
Of Kelly?
of Heinsohn reacting to Kelly Olynyk.
Oh my God,
taking over that game. I mean, that's like I'm telling you, that's a game like I don't know.
We were saying it when we were
If
leaving.
they would
we were
somehow win the championship, that'd be the Bernie Carbo home run
right.
of Celtics lore.
All of us knew it as it was happening, like in the thing, like leaving, going, that was the Olynyk game. We just saw the Olynyk game because the odds of it ever happening again. And also, like,
I was so happy for him.
we were walking out. We were walking by all the Wizards, like the owner and people like that, and they were just like shell shocked. And I was like, imagine you lose Game 7 because Kelly Olynyk got hot. That's what sent you home. You're just sitting there in some, like the owner's probably like in Nantucket or somewhere in mid-July, like just having a margarita at 5, and he just starts thinking about Kelly Olynyk. Gets pissed off. Oh.
That's a
What a way to go.
long, bitter off season for those guys. But I like that team, the Wizards, man. I like. Them.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing them again.
Yeah, and
I think they're gonna be back for seconds.
Do these Celtics have like a strict no explosive power clause with whoever they seem to draft? It's just why is everybody always jumping out of the gym over us? We got to. I mean, obviously Isaiah Thomas is lightning quick, but we always just seem to. We either have like brute force or just like Kelly Olynyk. I don't understand. What do we have against somebody? We got Green though. Green can get up, right?
There's
Some
this
of the
guy,
young kids like.
if they trade back in the draft, there's this kid Jonathan Isaac who's like this 6'11" jumper over the rim guy, the kind of guy the Celtics never have
Ever.
And it would be fun to just watch that guy in the Celtics once. Jaylen Brown might be a little bit like that, but he's only 6'8". Yeah, you're right. It's always like, even during the KG era, there was never that, the guys off the bench was like, big baby.
Yeah, no, we just
6'5" and
we
can
always
jump
had that.
1
We're
inch.
never gonna quit.
Yeah.
You can't wear us down. We're just going to keep coming. We're like Jason in Friday the 13th, man. How fast you run. We're just walking through the woods. You're going to trip over a branch and we're going to go over on a run. But we've just never been like when I was watching the Wizards, I was just like, all of these guys, like they got that quick first step, explosive thing. And
we never talked about the Pats winning the Super Bowl and coming back from 28-3.
Oh, yeah. How nuts was that? 28-3.
It was 28-3.
There
wasn't a lot of time left either.
That was the weirdest Super Bowl as far as like when it started. I was nervous and they were so kicking our ass. It was just over. And so I was just sitting there waiting for the inevitable. And as we started to come back, 28-10, I'm like, maybe they'll make it respectable. Even when they got the first 2-point conversion, I was like, all right, that's cool. But there's no way you're going to get two-point conversions in one NFL game. Forget about in a Super Bowl. And I didn't get nervous until overtime. I was like, oh my, we could like win this. And then they got the ball, and then I was standing up the entire time. And this was so funny. My daughter was like, I think 12 days. And that's what I was joking about on my podcast, that I was so happy the Patriots broke the 12-day drought in my daughter's life of them finally winning a Super Bowl. She can finally move on to the next chapter as a sports fandom. But yeah, that was I did the craziest, quietest celebration dance when when they scored the touchdown to win it, and I was still going like, are they going to call it back? You know how many times people run out on the field and they're like, wait a minute. So I waited till the confetti came down, everybody left, the coaches were shaking hands. I had to see a ref on TV, like, or just maybe not see a ref. It took me a minute, and I was like, all right, they're not calling it back. Then that was it. In my socks, almost broke my neck.
Did you
Hardwood
watch?
floors.
Did you see any like the sounds of the game stuff or anything like the week later? Like those
I
NFL
saw that
films
great
things?
clip of what's it? Second of the season's over. I forget everybody's name. The unbelievable catch by
Edelman.
Edelman, where he's just like, he just literally goes like, I got it. I caught
Yeah,
that.
I got that one.
And then the other guy's like, no, you didn't. He goes, yeah, I did. Check out the screen. it just sounded like they were like his house. Oh
There's-
yeah, I got a lazy boy. No, you don't. Yeah, I do. It's right over there. Oh yeah, you did. Like you wouldn't know that what was happening. That this one team was choking, the other one was coming back, and that a championship was on the line. And so much of the sports world was watching. Just the way they said, I was blown away by how casual.
I love
that.
There's nothing better than
was.
Mike when the players were at the end of the game after Blunt was celebrating with Brady, and then Belichick came over, and Belichick and Brady this big hug, and Blunt's kind of in there, and then they have this 3-man hug, and Blunt steps away and goes to Belichick, he's like, "You're the greatest ever," and he goes to Brady like, "And you're the fucking greatest ever." And then they all have this 3-man hug again. I'm like, we gotta sign him for 7 more years. This guy just captured the moment. Now he's on the Eagles.
I don't know if I ever pitched this, but I had an idea for a new sports package, which was like an adult, like rated R football or whatever. Like all the players are mic'd up. You make a concession that that nobody can get fined for whatever they say. Lately
It's just a free for all. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to listen to them saying all this shit that that they're saying. Like I would love, and as long, but the thing that would kill that is then everyone would gossip about it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple guys that you're mad. You say
Well, it
crazy
seems weird
shit
that you can call somebody a motherfucker. That's fine.
because everybody in
It's
all
like-
races has mothers. I think.
You're trying. You're trying to.
Yeah, I think that's not like it's got to be specific.
You're trying to really hurt somebody's feelings with language.
Yeah.
On a sports field.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, those people might have meant that thing, but I mean, it's a hell of a level that we're getting to that you're reading lips now.
Have you seen Area 21 with KG? Because he had this like Celtics reunion with Rondo and Big Baby and Pierce, and it was kind of a little bit like where
Ray
you're talking
Allen?
about. They did not invite Ray Allen.
Are they still upset about that?
I think it goes deeper than just him going to Miami.
I would think so, because I wasn't upset when he went to Miami. I was like, he wasn't ours. He was a Sonic. This is how we got him.
Anytime there's bad blood like this with NBA players, I always assume it's a woman or cards.
I remember that from your book.
Yeah, but it's just, and I think this Rondo Ray Allen thing was probably one of the two, would be my guess. But these guys were so canon together. You're
like the Andy Cohen of NBA. Now, Rondo, when Ray Allen said
true, I
this
should have
about
them
your
on.
girlful
Yeah.
was
Let's play a word
this
game.
about cards or was this about?
I
don't
feel like if they were together, I could get them to tell them what it was about.
Yeah, you
'Cause
know what?
It wasn't just Miami. These guys change teams too much. You can't just be like, you went to Miami, you're out. We're never talking to you again. And then they brought up, so they had all these guys on, and he came up, and Rondo wouldn't even like acknowledge. They wouldn't even talk about.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay.
something. Yeah,
I'm going to
just
go with
felt-
your instincts.
Felt deeper. But this thing you would have loved because it was like very loose, guys busting each other's balls, super candid. It was kind of the future of a studio show. There are no media people on there. It was just the guys. Somebody brought a wheelchair out for Pierce. They're making fun of him in the wheelchair.
He's still playing. Did he finally retire?
He finally retired. He's going to be
How great
on
was it they hit that
ABC.
three, that last
That was
three?
unbelievable.
It was perfect.
He'll be a really good TV guy because the people who are good on TV don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He'll be on like Paul George choked. He did but he can say that because he won a Finals MVP, and those are the ones. Like Barkley's good because he doesn't give a shit. He'll just say whatever.
Are Skechers, those Skechers they wear, are those like the new, like, remember what they said the Steve Jobs New Balance was like the old guy sneaker? Like those Skechers.
Who's wearing Skechers?
Whatever those things, those all black with the white soles. They're not wearing Skechers. They're probably wearing Jordans, but they look like Skechers to me. I just noticed like Joe Montana, all these guys, whatever those sneakers are,
What are they, Tommy?
for old feet.
I have no idea.
Tommy's disgusted. He's like any non-cool sneakers he's out on completely.
You ever noticed that? Like, there's all, oh my God, these are so comfortable. They're like the ugliest sneakers ever. I really didn't think I was going to be out on a limb on that one. They'd be, oh yeah, we know exactly what you're talking about. This has been killing me. Who is that Kansas? Who is that band right there?
That's the band from Almost Famous. You ever see that movie?
Oh my God.
That's Stillwater.
That's right, because that's the guy from My Name is Earl right there.
Yeah.
It's the Echo sneakers.
Echo sneakers.
Oh, is it Echo?
Hey, we have an answer
Echo,
for you.
the white soles.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's sponsored the show.
So we have
All right, my fault. I thought those were like,
Well,
I thought all their feet hurt. All their feet hurt, because to me, wearing a suit with the sneakers is like that shit from the 70s when women started wearing their power suits and they'd have their sneakers on. That was like this
That
in the
happened?
early 80s.
Where was
yeah,
I?
that was in the
I don't
early
remember
80s.
that.
That was like the look for a second. Then they put their stilettos on at the office. I'm gonna fucking stick this through your chest if you don't sign this deal. And then they put on their cute little Chrissy Everett sneakers and walk out of the building. You guys don't remember that? It was right after Urban Cowboy and right before breakdancing became mainstream. There was this time, you know?
this is
If
tiny
Hillary
window.
Clinton rocked the fucking sneakers with her pantsuit, I'm telling you, that might have turned it around.
F is for Family. What
F
days
is-
it coming out?
It comes out May 30th, and for those of you who haven't watched, we already have a first season of 6 episodes with the talents of people like Laura Dern, Justin Long, Sam Rockwell, David Koechner, Haley Reinhardt, Mo Collins, a zillion people, T.J. Miller. We got a bunch of people on, all propping me up.
And if you search for Bill Burr on Netflix, like what, 8 things comes up at this point? How many specials have you done for them?
I've
At least 4.
done
You just
5.
had one a couple weeks
5.
ago. 5.
5, yep.
You're one of the first
I think
ones.
everybody's had one a couple weeks ago at this point.
That's true. They're I mean, they basically bought that corner. Every week they
They're
have a
putting
new
out
one.
one
with
a week.
Really, really
52
good comic.
hours of stand-up comedy.
great.
Are you ready? Let's buckle up.
Better than 15 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yes, it
No?
is.
Now you get to go to Saskatchewan. People have Netflix there.
That is
They
true.
have Netflix in Ottawa.
They have Netflix
They have
everywhere.
Netflix in
except-
Regina?
Everywhere except North Korea, Syria, and one other place.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're in every country except for those, like, there's like,
North Korea.
yeah,
Well, don't.
Look
You're
it up.
probably not playing in North Korea anytime soon anyway. I would guess.
there's no way I would go up
Yeah,
there.
that's not
that
a
guy
great
who's
thing.
out of his mind.
Not a great place for you. All right.
I still maintain that he should be allowed to shoot off his fireworks in his own backyard. I mean, that is his country. He ought to be able to do that.
Fireworks should be like.
I mean, we
nuclear bomb.
do it. The fuck? We're blowing it.
We had
What
that weird
what
place
we
in
used-
Vegas.
We used to test them in the ocean. How many fish do we just randomly kill? People need to eat those fucking things. Only we can do it. We're saying you're out of your mind, but that guy is out of his mind. I don't know if it's just propaganda. I heard he fed his uncle like naked to dogs. You know what it is? He's going through his Michael Corleone years,
Oh.
where like Mo Green and all those guys
Yeah.
were coming at him. So he had to feed a few naked people to dogs just to be like, hey, I may be a fat, hairless son of a bitch, but I may look like I'm 15 and ate donuts, but I'm going to tell you something. You fuck with me, I'm throwing you to the dogs. You have to do that as a dictator. And if you're going to be the only fat guy in your country, you got to be throwing down. Everybody else is starving to death. You need fear. So technically, he's doing, if you look at, read The Art of War and all of that shit, he's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing.
All right.
He probably missed a few chapters. You know what would be great?
I
Would
knew
be
we were
Donald
gonna-
Trump versus, what is his name? What's
Kim
his-
Jong-il.
Kim Jong-il. Great name. East meets West. Bare knuckle grappling. It's all fucking, they go in there with like the sumo wrestler diaper on.
Well, Trump's secretly big. He's like 6'4".
Is
I
he
think he's a
6'4"?
heavy favorite. Yeah, he's like
How-
6'3" or 6'4".
How long is that tie? It still hangs down
huge.
below his balls.
It's
He's gotta
giant
is that
ties.
the Andre the Giant collection? So they should have those two. Like, war shouldn't be legal anymore. It's just enough already.
Good, bro.
Let's just grow up. Let's just get it. You get Dana White to put together like a world leader like UFC. Okay? And then you really will see ageism will get in there because, Trump's an old guy. going up against him. Oh, that'd be great. I don't think
Old
that.
guy with size though. Once he
Old
gets
guys
you,
with size. If
once
he-
you
if
get
he
you
got
on
him
the
with a liver
ground,
shot-
or he's gonna
Finally get
do
to see if that hair's real or not when he gets him in a headlock.
Yeah, it's probably not. Jimmy Fallon taught us. I thought he taught us that it might be real. He mussed it up.
I think what was happening was he was losing it and he was growing it out and he was wrapping it around. But then since then the
like
whole
a spaghetti bowl.
yeah the whole, like the times where they spin it around on the spoon, he was doing that on top of his head.
Yeah.
And then I think the Bosley system came in, so he was able to then fill it in. But he was
so
smart
under the
enough.
spaghetti, he was getting like plugs and stuff.
But he was smart enough to wait, because when he first started swirling around like angel hair pasta, those were the times where they were putting like the insect legs, the doll hair. Like
Yeah.
I saw a guy the other day on the plane, and like whenever I see it, my eyes water. Like that looks like it was like a hair nail gun.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's going, gotcha. So so I think he has, I think he's got I think he was losing it in the back and he was swirling it around. If I had to guess, having gone down that road.
Spaghetti, followed by the hair plugs, followed by
Yeah.
not as much spaghetti.
He
'cause
brought
now
in
you have the hair.
reinforcement. He brought in reinforcement.
I think that's a good.
And then
that's
I
a good
think,
call.
but I also think he also knows his brand, and he knows his brand is the extra long red tie, and he knows that he has to coif it up. So even if it is all real,
All right.
he might have some extensions up there. Might have gone a little Beyonce. I mean, you never know. There's a lot going on up there. There's more secrets on the top of his head than in the Pentagon.
It'd be interesting if. It'd be interesting if he grew
His
Fu
wife's the only
Manchu.
one that has the codes to the top of his head.
Oh, did you see those pictures today?
Yeah, it's crazy.
She slapped his hand away when he went to hold hands with her. They're traveling all these different countries, and I don't think it's going well. The internets are having fun with it.
Oh, come on.
The
I mean,
internets
just-
are having fun
You're
analyzing the
not
pictures.
married until your wife slaps your hand
Right,
away.
I was gonna say.
And the couple you're hanging out with sees it. It's like just great. You give them something to talk about on the way home. What do you think they were fighting about? No, she really slapped his hand away. That wasn't playful. I'm sorry. That was not playful.
It was one of the few times I identified with Trump. It was like, tough to travel with the wife for that long. Yeah,
You know what
you're gonna-
happened?
You're
He
gonna
was
mix it up every
probably
once in a
looking
while.
at some beautiful chick.
Oh, the
over-
stewardess. Yeah, he's probably checking out the stewardess.
Oh, he probably was. Probably over there fucking, you know how he said hello? Now I'm the
All right.
free leader of the free world. I'm not going to do the
Bill Burr.
hacky pussy grabbing joke. Hey,
Oh.
thank you for having
Oh,
me.
wait, hold on. Thanks to Hotel Tonight. The weather changes, your mood changes. Why lock yourself into plans that might change, especially if you're in Ottawa or Regina? Not Regina, Regina.
Vagina.
With Hotel Tonight, you'll get incredible deals on awesome hotels. Even at the last minute, booking on Hotel Tonight gives you the freedom and the flexibility to play things by ear.
Donald Trump had to use that after getting his hands
Hotel-
slapped
yeah.
away. Hotel Tonight. He's Googling his own hotels. What do you mean you don't have a reservation?
Knowing that you'll score a great price and a great place to stay, download the Hotel Tonight
Nice
app.
word, score. Hotel Tonight, score. They got the whole thing in there.
Download the Hotel Tonight app.
This is what it's for. Hotel Tonight. I can't wait anymore. What if Kim Jong-il fires a missile? Come on, let's do it.
And also, thanks to propercloth.com. Every guy knows it's hard to find a dress shirt that fits. Ordering a custom fit shirt has never been easier thanks to Proper Cloth. Create a custom shirt size in seconds by answering just 10 easy questions, no measuring required. They guarantee a perfect fit. Remakes are free. Stop wearing shirts that don't fit. Look your best. Go to propercloth.com/BS. Enter gift code BS to save $20 on your first shirt. Again, propercloth.com/BS. Gift code BS. Don't forget to check out theringer.com. Don't forget about our new podcast, Larry Wilmore, Black on the Air, Against All Odds with Cousin Sal. Bill Burr, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. We'll see you.